evening.
You got, I got it over here too, I'm sorry.
The Louisville Municipal School District provides educational opportunities to meet the needs of students with various backgrounds and abilities. Invocation by Ms. Steele, then pledge to the flag.
Father, this evening, I'm just going to tell you, thank you, Father. Father, thank you for allowing us to have one of your days, Heavenly Father. Just thank you for the blessing of life itself. And Father, as we go through this meeting tonight, Lord, I pray that everything be done decent and in order. These things we pray and ask in our darling Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda of this meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been motioned and second to approve the agenda of this meeting for tonight. And now it is time for me to pass the gavel to Mr. Roger Caperton.
All right.
You got it.
A speech involved in this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the consent agenda. Need a motion to accept.
I have a question. I'm going to pull off. Um, 6.84.
Okay.
This best chamber at Island.
Is that on the
6.84,
the added?
6.84
Yes.
for a possible executive session.
Yes.
Okay, John, okay. 'Any others for consideration? That's a staff resignation approval
Interventions.
for interventions. Any other considerations on the consent agenda? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a consent agenda. 6.9, approval of the following to receive a supplement for the 2000.
I think the consent goes all the way through 6:13.
Thank you, it sure does. Approval for Mississippi Forestry Commission Annual Work Plan for 16th section. Gentlemen?
Preference. Here we go. To start off, we got two that are applying for second thin coming up this year. Both of those we pay as cut. We have the first thin on 16, 15, 14, we pay as cut. And a lump sum on a final on 16, 13, 10. I think it totals 794 acres in total.
Could you tell them what page you're on so that?
Yeah, it's on that first page,
Okay.
He's ahead, he's going on ahead, so you can go.
okay. Second page, we got, no herbicide work really planned, but we do have, an invasive, plan we have, mainly like codon grass and stuff. About an acre in each of these sections we have found. And all that should be covered under grant, so it shouldn't cost anything on those when we spray them.
Where's that, where's 16, 15, 14? Do you know off the top of your head?
Up around off of Russell Road, what we call 16 section graveyard, up above Peterson Store.
Okay. And there's coding grass up there.
Right. Yeah, it's not bad up here this way yet.
All right. That's the first I've heard of it.
Right, yeah, we can go ahead and get it caught now, and we can stop the spread of it from getting any worse.
What kind of grass is that?
Kogan. It's just this stout.
It comes from the coast, it looks a lot like monkey grass, and it's hard to kill it. I mean, you can't even, it grows a lot like kudzu, it's pretty quick growing type stuff. On page 3 of 8, we have 3 sections we plan on doing a fuel reduction prescribed burning for. I say we already, I got most of the plans done for these already, and shouldn't be anything to these really. Get them done. Page 4. Nothing planned on reforestation. I know we had graveyard, that section cut. I think we're letting it come back naturally. So it shouldn't be anything going towards that. Let's see, page.
Will you like plan it next year maybe or?
But we're gonna let it come back on its own, whatever grows out there.
Okay.
It was a pine, mixed hardwood stand, so it'll come back.
Okay.
as is.
I see.
We didn't have any mechanical site preps this year, that's page 5. Page 6, just our fire lanes and road work for each of the sections. We like to try to keep up with it, keep them fresh, easy to find and work on for the future. That's usually about 4 miles per section we do that on. And that kind of ties into on page 7, the plan boundary lines. When we push them to do the fire lanes and stuff on, we'll also paint it to mark out where that line is on it. And on page 8, it just shows the escrow from last year and the estimated escrow looking at for this year.
Why the big difference?
Well, for one, we've had, we got a new forester in right now, so he's kind of learning a lot of new stuff. So I don't know if maybe one guy did it different, and because, I know we've done some road work and stuff last year that isn't shown on this map specifically, but I say he did plan on being here today, but he had some family matters come up, so.
Roger, I hadn't got a copy, so what's the big difference?
Expense by year in 2021 was $4,000, and then 22 next year is $61,000. Expense difference. That's what
So I know that herbicide, it'll be covered by grant, so that'll be taken off, but the rest of it, I don't know how, our previous forester Brady, I don't know how he used to do it. He never kind of let us in on how he did his work and everything. This new forester we had is kind of putting us more in the loop, so.
might be worth a phone call. I mean,
Hey, Roger, I'll follow up on that.
okay.
And one question I got, Scribe Bernie, is that, are we gonna get cost share on that? Or is it gonna be any, because years before, a lot of that's been paid for by some grant money or something.
I know he is looking into it. I think most of it should be covered too.
And as far as
Most of them are close by, they should be covered under hazard mitigation.
next year, what about timber sales? You got that, or did y'all got any timber sales planned for next year? Or for the year y'all are reporting on?
For this year, no, nothing that has come up so far. Now, he is looking on this system, which has everything documented. John Moore's been out on federal detail, so hopefully when he gets back in, he can go over more. If there is something.
Because I know y'all had, income for us this coming year, $500,000, is that correct?
Fiscal year, any escrow,
No, not the escrow,
the revenue.
yeah, revenue.
Right.
So I mean, if it's, am I right, is it five, you got five?
Yes, that's what it
So I
is.
mean, you think that's gotta be timber sales right there,
Right.
but I'll follow up on that too.
That's all the pages we got.
Okay. Let me just say, I would like to know a little bit more. If this is something that we need to vote on tonight, I'm going to recommend that we table this until we get more information. That's just a big discrepancy, and whether or not it's covered under the grant, that doesn't factor into it with me. I understand grants, but I think I'd like Hal to look at it. Maybe the person that's not here tonight, he'll have time to maybe come next month. If that's all right, and he can explain some of these things to us a little bit better.
We'll let them know.
Okay, I think that'd be the best thing. If y'all agree, there's a motion for that. A motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better.
You can just turn around and put it on there next month.
Yeah.
Explanation.
Yeah, just any information you can give us would probably help it go a lot smoother.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I tell you, I'll talk to you all before next month, we'll get it worked out.
Okay.
Yeah. Y'all can stay and enjoy, or you can leave. It's up to you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, approval of claims docket, 33-1086 through 33-1381, and the June 2021 activity agency fund checks.
Questions?
Page 40, it says.
What do you have to tell us?
It's a big one. We have a lot of, it's the end of the year. Trying to get everything in. As usual.
page 4. Anything outstanding y'all see? I can wait a minute.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the claims docket.
Motion to
Brenda,
approve. Second.
motion, second by Jackie. All those in favor? Ayes have it, thank you. Approval of June 2021 bank balances and financial reports. 56, I'm still looking for 56. Look for 40.
This is awesome. Wow. Just tap on it. There, I don't have to go through all this.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? I just like Roger over there, like,
With the blue is, we tap
with the blue is, tap the blue.
Where's Netflix?
Roger over on
No, I got one.
Oh, I am getting covers, but they just,
Okay.
they're not here yet, so you will have a cover for it.
What I say it was on page 56.
Yeah, you should be able to just click when you get
Oh,
where you're at
yeah.
the agenda.
Yes.
Just click to the left, click the blue, and it should pop right up. Big time.
Be up all night, man. Oh, this other one didn't do this. I never did even. Okay. All right, have y'all, I'm sorry, Stacy?
It just does.
Okay. If Stacy doesn't have anything to interject, I'll ask for approval for 8.2.
I'll make a motion to approve 8.2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, MSBA policies.
Y'all had copies of those, that was some that they, have sent out that they either, the legislature updated, and of course, that was in yellow was the new, and what they had marked out was red, and it's, I mean, just kind of basic, their normal stuff, and if y'all approve these, then I'll get them changed on our website, and then probably next month I'll ask for approval for the rest of them, we have to do it every year. So,
One thing I did note in there that all of the, I don't think we suspended any policies because of COVID, although we did make some changes in the boardroom and whatnot. And we instituted the video. If we're gonna change anything back to the way it was before. The only thing I know that we might, if y'all wanted to re-invite the public to discontinue the live streaming, you could do that. But we never suspended our testing policies or anything like that. They mentioned in there that those were gonna be reinstituted for the upcoming school year. That's just the only thing I noticed about the suspension of policies.
So what do we want to do about that? As far as the public,
Talking about the camera. I'm,
in the public?
I'm in favor of keeping the camera right now. It's my personal opinion with this new Delta variant, the numbers increasing. Really don't know what's ahead.
I agree with you, but at the same time, when I have
required to wear masks in school?
I'm
We just
for,
haven't done today.
I'm for cutting the camera off. I don't care, it doesn't bother me.
Bye.
It's if anybody wants to come, I mean, that's fine with me, but it doesn't cost me anything to sit here in front of a camera either, so I'm not gonna, if you have a strong opinion on that,
I'm just,
or
no,
not strong, but you know.
man, I don't know. What it wouldn't hurt to invite, can we do both?
Certainly.
I mean, I don't know how many we'd have coming anyway, if we did, say, yeah, public, come on back.
Well, we never told the public they couldn't come, we just limited, because of the government's mandates. We
Right.
had to limit the number of people that were gonna be in here.
Gotcha.
And so it excluded most of the public. And so we made accommodations and continue to make the accommodation to have the video camera, but, there's the internal, or the mandate that was put forth by the governor is, it's gone now. So if we want, if the public wants to come and y'all want to discontinue the camera, then you can do that. I didn't say where we had done it by motion before. We just, it's kind of an emergency situation, so we did it to accommodate the public. But I would think if you wanted to discontinue it, you should let the public know. I mean, that'd just be my suggestion. But whether you have to keep the camera and invite them back, or or just encourage the public to come, and that's.
Well, there's a room capacity for this room, we could probably find that out fairly easy, I don't know.
We do, I think we had it somewhere, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
It's-
It used to be posted, but I don't know where it's at right now.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, they ever have a lot of people come?
It depend on
Oh,
if we were giving out Sonic certificates or not.
oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Sometimes we would have a room full, and sometimes it would be like this. So, even before.
They'd give out those reading awards and get a Sonic certificate. I know
I
that. So
think
we're
the
not-
capacity was 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was.
And
And just to be in comparison with the rest of your board of supervisors, and I'm not sure about the city alderman, but I know the board of supervisors, they're not screened and they're open. I mean, you can come and go as you need to.
I'm all for opening it up to capacity, whatever say low, and then if we feel like changing it back, we'll change it back.
I'm open for inviting 10 back, that's how many seats we got out here. Still keep it social,
Social-
6 or 3 or whatever.
Distancing
Yes,
capabilities.
keep social distancing and, keep the camera.
I don't care, I honestly don't care.
I like to offer a motion that we keep the camera and not over 10 guests.
Well, I would say that if y'all want to keep the social distancing, then we just need to have your
Chairs arranged.
arranged
Yes, uh-huh,
appropriately, and then that'll be the number that can come in, and
right.
everybody else will just have to watch the live stream.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Uh-huh.
Aye. Opposed? Nay, no nays. All right, good enough.
can I get the policies now? 'Cause
We we still haven't, we kind of got sidetracked. But it needed to come up though. MSBA policies, anybody see anything?
Most of them were pretty standard, I mean,
Yeah.
more than anything else. But I saw the stuff out, it's their usual.
We don't have visitors at school now, right? So if somebody wanted to go in and read to a class like at Fair, is that still off limits? Or?
For this upcoming school year, it's not off limits. It can be arranged. We're still, and we'll be discussing that in number 10 there, I'm sure, with the safe return to school plan with the recommendations from the Mississippi Department of Health for schools and whatnot. There is some ways that we can allow some visitors, some structured time for visitors on campus.
Okay.
All right, MSBA policies, is there a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept the SBA policy.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Great. Discuss approval of dropout prevention restructuring plan and safe return to school plan for the school year. 896.
On page 2, Derek Hopkins' name is misspelled. I mean, I know that's petty, but
I can't turn it, keep turning.
Now this dropout prevention, Dr. G, well, excuse me. Wasn't that cut out? Was that cut out, the dropout prevention plan?
Cut.
It wasn't cut out?
We approved it, we had one last year's later.
You had one last
So I
year?
guess
Okay. So the primary purpose of the Louisville Municipal School District Prevention Plan, Dropout Prevention Plan, enhance educational achievement by providing services to at-risk students that promote and provide additional opportunities for academic success. So everybody is going to have a Chromebook.
We do have enough devices for all students, yes. I mean, are you looking for something specifically in the dropout prevention plan states? What were you reading at?
I was on page 6.
6.
We do have enough for every student. But is that saying that every student is going to have one in their possession?
Now, this dropout prevention plan is talking about our at-risk students. This is identifying those at-risk for potential dropouts, and this is the plan that we have in place to try to identify and try to provide interventions and remediation to prevent those dropouts.
Okay. Who's in charge of MTSS?
And last year it was Dr. Stokes. This coming year, it's Leanne Boswell will be taking over those responsibilities.
Okay. So this might have been just a copy run or something, you think? Or did she work on this? Did this committee that you have in here, did they meet, do you know?
Tell me who formulated
Who's
this document?
involved? Mr. Luke, Paula Stokes, Swartz, Crawford? Was there a meeting
Yes, we've met.
with these assistant principals and board members and truant officers? On page 13.
Page 13.
Mhm.
These people are involved every time we have an MTSS.
So what now?
They're involved every time we have an MTSS meeting. That involves those people at that school. Those students are involved. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you got the board members on here too. And you got Gerald Mills on here, President of Winston County Chamber of Commerce. I never got a call about a meeting. I mean, anywho,
like the process after this is approved is, it'll be posted to the website, and then it's scheduled to start, like, we'll provide this document to go over, with everybody that's on here. So they do not have an official copy of this document until it's approved.
So they didn't help make up this document.
Oh, yes, they got input on it, but as far as like, for us to be able to submit to NDE and to a final product, it has to be approved. But that's the reason it hasn't been posted or anything yet.
So if we were to approve this tonight, it would go in with Gerald Mills' name on here?
Is he not the president of the Winston County Chamber?
No, ma'am.
No.
We would need to make that correction.
And back to page 8. So each school has a PTA meeting a month. Open house conferences are held once a semester to come with parents regarding their child's progress. So that's being done.
It wasn't done during the COVID year, but
District-wide,
it is scheduled for
school
this year.
holds a monthly PTA meeting. Each school. Page 8, the third bullet. Under family engagement.
It's hard to plan.
Oh,
That's
I-
part of our plan, so that's what we're trying to encourage at each of our school sites, yes.
so if we had this plan last year, that happened last
No
school
matter
time.
during COVID, all this stuff, all
It
the
could've
meetings
happened.
were suspended and all that.
We could have had it on Zoom, couldn't we?
They could have, and I don't know how some of the schools went about their PTO meetings.
Okay,
We were,
okay. The Family Parent Center. Is it open every day?
Mhm.
Somebody's there every day?
Mhm.
No, she's at each school. She goes to each school, so what time is she there?
Ms.
She didn't
Alberberg,
do that last
she,
She-
year. She did last year she did not go out to our schools.
Okay. So this coming year, she will not be going out to the schools. Okay. Page 11, after school opportunities. I'm not talking about the Heroes program now. Many schools provide after-school and summer enhancement programs that eliminate information loss and inspire interest in a variety of areas. Especially important for students at risk of schools failure because their programs fill their afternoon gap time. After-school programs and actively collaborate with internal and external organizations to offer students all the extra resources they need to succeed. What's the internal and external organizations?
Well, external, you remember they did, one of the church groups came in and did a program several afternoons a week with,
Okay, that follows through the way or something?
well, good news club, couldn't think of the name of it. And then, the schools themselves, Island had an after-school program for most of last year when we were open, as well as, LES. And then, Ms. Crawford had a summer extended year for special education students.
Okay. who's on the MTSS committee?
You'll have,
Who?
you must have principal, assistant principal, counselor,
So that's these people back here. That's
and
listed.
school back at each school, and then, plus we had teachers.
All right, I guess I'll leave my other red marks.
Maybe, okay. Any other discussion on, the MSBA? No, we're on a dropout prevention or safe return plan.
We have discussed that with the dropout prevention. That we got
Dropout,
on by
okay,
itself.
okay. Well, all right, any discussion for the safe return plan?
We need to approve that.
They're on the same one.
Actually, there's information in here, the dropout prevention plan that conflicts with the safe return plan.
So what now?
This information here, some of it
Uh-huh,
is in conflict with this plan.
yes.
So you can approve this one when it conflicts with this one.
What's conflicting?
For one, engagement, this right here, district wide. Each school will hold monthly PTA meeting, and parents are welcome on the school campus to confer with teachers, principals, and counselors whenever it does not interfere with daily operation and instructional times. That's in this plan.
And what's in a safe return to school plan?
Okay. In here it says, you have to meet by, I want to say by Zoom to schedule conferences. So how can you do Zoom and do that also?
Look under miscellaneous, this way.
Yeah, that's where it is.
I was gonna say, it's under our family support, it's saying that it can.
It's in miscellaneous.
It's the last page of your second council plan.
Talking about like bullet 3?
Mhm.
That's providing the teacher, the parent, the opportunity, if they don't want to come face to
But they
face.
can come face to face.
They can come face. It doesn't say that they can't, right? Or does it say them somewhere else?
Okay,
Parents, guardians, not-
so there's opportunity to come face to face.
Yeah, it's just basically giving the parents the opportunity to use those digital means if they're, have concerns about coming face to face.
Okay.
So maybe help by
That makes sense.
phone calls, Zoom, or FaceTime, that means that those options are available.
Those options are available
Okay.
for the parent that has the concerns, don't want to come to a face-to-face conference, they will have some other options that they can utilize. And there again, once these plans meet approval, these will be discussed in greater detail with all of our building administrators so that they can in turn discuss them with teachers, and make sure that everybody's on the same page doing the same thing.
Okay, just more time for the safe return and dropout prevention needed.
Will they be
they're wearing masks in classrooms?
It's not
Not required.
required. It is recommended for all those that are non-vaccinated. We're going to recommend to wear masks, but as far as a requirement from Mississippi Department of Health or the CDC, they are not required to wear masks.
And we,
Now, if that changes due to executive order, we'll have to make some adjustments and change. Of course, we'll make some changes, just like we did during the last year. We made adjustments as needed to follow any executive order or Mississippi Department of Health guidelines that came out.
so do we know how many has been vaccinated?
We do not have a count on that. We're currently working with some local providers to provide easy access for our children 12 and up for vaccinations. We're going to do a push, a drive, try to motivate people, give them the opportunity to get those vaccinations. We're looking at that to start us go. Also going to provide that same opportunity for our employees. One of the, I say it just from a personal standpoint, one of the driving factors that's going to probably create most employees seeking to get a vaccination is the fact that the administrative paid leave that we experienced last year is not going to happen in the future. So if you're quarantined due to close contact or not vaccinated, you'll have to spend 14 days and have to utilize your personal sick time or leave time. But if you're vaccinated and you're coming in close contact, you do not have to quarantine. So those are going to be some factors that I believe is going to help motivate more and more to get vaccinated, hopefully in the near future.
I read somewhere where that we're not taking temperature anymore, right? That's gonna be done at home.
You're going to have to monitor your own symptoms.
So when you read masks should be worn, if the CDC is saying that masks should be worn, shouldn't we be wearing it? As far as like in the school?
The recommendation that Dr. Byers and Dr. Thomas, we listened to them last week talking about.
I'm just looking at this right here, it's been updated on this site from CDC.
Yes, this is the latest from our state.
So we listen to our state or CDC? Because
Well, our state's going through the CDC because that's who they follow.
this is update from the CDC also.
And it's basically telling you that they're recommending that you should wear a mask. That's how they're worded. That they're not requiring you to wear a mask.
And how are you gonna know who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated? You're not gonna know that.
The only way you know it is just a simple question, are you vaccinated? And you can answer it or not answer it as a student or employee because of HIPAA and all that you're familiar with.
And you know some students are not gonna be vaccinated because they haven't met the age requirements.
Haven't met the age requirements.
What about those students?
12 and under, 11 and under, not yet there. We were
No,
also
they're not
informed
there.
that this fall, that 6 and up's going to be included in that. So it's coming that our younger kids going to have the opportunity.
But should we at least wear masks until the opportunity is given to those children? Then if they don't take it then it's different. But right now, that population is not being offered the vaccine.
I understand your point. I do.
Is it illegal for us to ask?
To ask who?
To ask the staff and the parents to have the students?
No, it's not illegal.
I'm asking, John, Mr. Mayor.
Is it illegal to ask them whether or not they?
Can we, yeah,
I don't think it is, but we can't, it's the disclosure aspect of it.
Somebody falls on the purple.
As far as asking them about being
But we
vaccinated or
get,
not,
we get
no, if they
information
would.
about you have to provide proof of immunization for other diseases.
Mhm.
the conversation that Jim Key and them had at Mass last week was, is the asking, as far as being vaccinated, you can ask, but you can't get past that. You can't ask the why, the what, or anything. I mean, just simple as, are you vaccinated?
So why are we not gonna require masks in schools when we know we have a population of children who are in the school who do not have access to the vaccine as of yet? It's probably coming down the pipeline, but right now they do not.
Well, my recommendation is simple, following what the Mississippi Department of Health is recommending for us. I mean, that's what they're telling, and that's what other superintendents around us are doing right now.
Well, I'm not really interested in what other superintendents are doing. I'm interested in what's best for the student too.
I understand.
And if you have
And
a
we will
proclamation,
do whatever
that's
this
not.
board desires on that, on the issue with masks.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I want to make everybody aware, we're not saying that you shouldn't wear a mask. We're going to be of the opinion that, you know, you can wear a mask. That's our recommendation, especially if you're not vaccinated.
But how is that gonna, you can enforce, you should. That cannot be enforced.
I don't know how we're going to enforce masks without a mandate in our state the way it is now. I'm sure that you're aware, it's been around, the masks are not being worn from Walmart to the meetings on the coast. I'm just, Caperton, you was at a meeting this past weekend. Was anybody wearing a mask?
20%.
Maybe.
I'm in agreement with you.
I mean,
Right.
is it something that we can put in that we can actually enforce?
No, it's not gonna be enforced. Unlikely.
Yeah. You never know what's gonna happen week to week on that area.
And it's just, you know, it may come out in a week, 2 weeks, or whatever, and we may get, it may be forced on everybody.
Yeah.
But the conversations last week was the governor is not going to mandate.
I mean, I've been vaccinated.
I have
I
to.
can't prove it, but I have been. I
You don't
mean,
have a car.
I didn't keep that card. I don't keep my other immunization records either. I mean, I got polio when I had the polio vaccine. I don't have that record.
But it's a record though.
If somebody's got it,
Yeah.
if they need it, they can find it. But I didn't keep my card. But, okay, any more discussion on dropout prevention or safe return plan? Good discussion. Is there a motion to approve number 10?
Gonna do them separately,
They're not listed separately.
cause I'm not in favor of state return plan. Only for the mask portion of it.
Well, we could make a motion to approve, just listen to the motion first.
No.
To approve the dropout prevention plan and the safe return plan with an addition of requiring masks. Can we require or to wear a mask, ask to wear a mask? What's the word?
He is gonna ask them to wear a mask.
We're gonna recommend and ask folks to wear a mask. I mean,
It's really all you can do, because there's so many people, it's not, I mean, it's split down the middle. There's so many people that's dead and set against it than others that aren't.
I will tell you that as far as the public comment on the safe return plan, the only one we have is the fact that we're not requiring a mask to be worn. They were in favor of it. But now we didn't give any comments one way or the other.
I'm in favor of it too, but and that's my problem too, because we're not required.
What was the discussion of masks on the masks?
Not requiring, I mean, the governor is not gonna make you require them.
Of course
He just said, basically, Dr. Byers said that you should wear a mask in any large gatherings if you're not vaccinated. Said if you're vaccinated, don't worry about the mask.
And why are we doing with the temperature screening? Why are we doing away with that?
Because we know that a lot of these parents send these kids to school sick.
We're still going to follow the same procedures for sick students at our schools. I mean, if you come in and we check your temperature, you got a temperature, we're gonna handle and follow the same procedures that we do with any student with a fever. We're just not gonna mass check everybody as we've done the last year.
That's my question, why we're not.
It's not one of the recommendations.
Okay. Regardless of if it's a benefit, we're just not gonna do it. If I come up here with a temperature,
We didn't check your temperature when you
You didn't
came in.
we do. If a
Or
student comes in here
anybody in here, if we checked it this afternoon or evening, like you mean.
and you never have, and I'm wearing a
We
mask,
never did, not in here.
we never done it in here. But you have been doing it in the school system.
We did. And our temperature checks, I don't know, somebody help me, Ms. Swart or Dr. Stokes or Ms. Crawford, did we have any children through temperature check that led to COVID that we can recall? I know Ms. Swart, you dealt with it more than anybody.
That'd be hard to say.
You probably can't say that, but were there any
we
temperature
checked.
checks that led to a student not being allowed to come to school? Would probably be a better, something you could actually,
Yeah.
to see. Would know, but you wouldn't know the first one.
Mr. Luke, under health and safety on that plan, could we just reword that second bullet to put the word in there recommended?
If it's recommended, it's not gonna get done. If it's not required screening, it's not gonna get done. When those students come in, they're gonna trot on down the hall to the classroom. If it's not put in place where they're required, it's not gonna get done.
Can the school board require that the state does it?
That's a good question.
'Cause
Yeah, the governor, there was a lot of pushback when the cities instituted different plans that were, some of them were more invasive than others. And the part of the thing we went around with the governor's office was that, what could the cities and the school districts do if they were gonna go beyond what you couldn't do less than what the governor was telling you to do. Could you do more if it was in conflict with what he was saying? And there's not a real good answer.
could you research that?
I
Could you
did.
research, or you did?
I can further research it.
Cause
I would be
I
happy
would
to.
really like to know, cause I pretty much know how he's gonna recommend stuff.
I can do that and circulate a short answer about
That would be great.
And I will tell you this, I was in phone calls today and trying to set up some meetings with some local health providers to get their input on basically what's going on in our community with COVID and the numbers and all that good stuff. So it's not in a bubble of just what's going on at the state level. We're talking to people here locally too, to try to get their opinions and what we need to do and not do.
And also, under health and safety, it has athletic equipment will be cleaned and sanitized on a regular basis after use. Regular to me may not be the same thing as regular to you. My regulars would be after each use. Somebody else maybe once a week. It needs to be,
I can, just to maybe help, I can guarantee you, no coach wants to lose a player. So he's gonna do everything he can.
so this should not say regular. It should be specified. I guess I'm just used to when, and what I do,
Yeah,
after each patient, it's gonna be clean,
yeah, right.
you know.
I can say personally, I went into the athletic complex twice this summer, or at least one time. And nobody knew I was coming. It wasn't like a thing that happened, but it was clean. You know how you can smell when something's been sanitized, and it was like, it was clean. This was just in the middle of the summer. I really feel like our coaches
They are sanitized.
are gonna be on
And
top
they
of
got
it.
sanitizing bottles and.
They're everywhere.
Stations, and every time they can, between uses.
There you go,
between
every
uses,
time they
everything.
can.
No, when I say can, I'm talking about if two people are working out a bench press machine, they can't sanitize while they're there. Just as soon as they leave it, it's sanitized for the next person that comes to it.
Yeah.
So every time they can, they're sanitizing and keeping their equipment clean, because as Roger was alluding to, they're trying to make sure that all the athletes are healthy.
If you clean after each use, you stand a less chance of transmission. If this student is over here on a weight bench, after each use, that's better than saying on a regular basis. Regular basis could be once a week. After each use is specific.
Now,
After each group uses or after
No.
each student?
Each individual.
That's tough.
You don't know what's on my hands.
now, in defense of football, I think we asked Coach Shorter, when we were over there, and he said if Roger is using it, Roger has to clean it.
Yep.
When he gets finished,
Mhm.
and the next person, when Bert comes in and use it, he's got to clean it when he finishes.
See, that's,
Now, I
I
don't
like
know
that.
what the other,
And
Basketball
we're referring to
and all those-
athletic equipment, is that the bullet we're talking about, sort of general?
Just, I'll just read it on the athletic equipment.
But I mean,
It should be stated, each use.
but see,
But if it's
if you get too specific in that, you're talking about a baseball, you're talking about a basketball, you're talking about a football, and that's not possible. You know, but if we're talking about, like Coach Shorter with the weight room or the weights, they do sanitize between uses.
Now, look, with baseball, if you're in a game, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that.
I
With
mean,
the baseball, because you really can't do that with the
but if you
baseball.
change the language, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about between each use. So if you don't leave it with some general terms here,
Mhm.
you get setting sort of the policy that y'all want, and it requires us to do that, and it's not possible. So we gotta leave it worded similar to this, and then we've got to turn around and say, hey, Coach Shorter, y'all gotta continue, or Coach Courtney, or Coach Rigsby, y'all gotta continue doing this, and you clean between individual use on the weight room, you clean between individual use in the gym or whatever.
As long as it's being addressed in those terms.
And I think our coaches and our teachers did an outstanding job with it last year. They really did.
Do you realize in the volleyball games, if the ball went off the court,
Mm-hmm.
that
Saw
ball
that.
automatically was sprayed down because a fan
Right.
would touch it, was not put back in action. It was clean and held till the next time a clean ball was put in play.
In some places, they were asking the fans not to even.
Yes.
They were asking you not to touch balls.
That's what they did in Louisville. They said, don't touch it.
It's a very complicated time though, because you're putting kids out there in each other's faces, baseballs, handling the same baseball, same bats. It's impossible, but again, you have to do the best you can do.
And our coaches and our teachers, they'll continue to do the very best they can.
So do we need to make a motion to approve these two?
Yes.
It's on the question has been asked. But, I mean, I don't want to cut off anybody's questions because it's important.
Can I comment on one thing? Y'all still talking about the same
Yes.
thing? There's nothing to stop the district from requiring masks. There are states that have implemented laws to prevent school districts from requiring masks. Mississippi is not yet one of those. And there are districts around the state that are requiring it next year, at least coming out of the gate. Jackson and mentioned a couple of them. And I know that the pediatric guidelines came out maybe yesterday, and they were a little different. You know, the stuff is evolving, and I know that that's difficult as an administrator and a board to get your arms wrapped around because it's when it's all evolving. But to answer your question, there's nothing to prevent the district from requiring this from a legal standpoint.
Based on what I saw this weekend, there's plenty of people that will still want to wear masks. And I do fall back on the schools last year. They were clean. I don't think, did anybody even get stomach virus last year? Was that,
I'm sure someone did, but now,
Yeah,
it was clean though.
but we don't know where they came from school.
So
I will notice in my own household, there was a drastic decrease in the number of sick days.
I didn't even get hay
Maybe it
fever.
was the mask. The thing, I'm pushing it
I know
fast.
you
It might
are.
not pass, but I'm pushing
I know
it
you
fast.
are. But I think a lot of people are clean, and I feel comfortable with it. And I mean, if my wife gets it, She can't go to work, and I'm not just out here living, haphazardly either.
Exactly.
But
But my only thing is, at least do it until these guidelines where the younger students can be vaccinated, can be offered the vaccine. Everything else in this plan,
but they're not showing any.
I can live with it.
Are they? But they're not. Those younger people aren't showing a propensity to catch it, though,
Oh, they're catching it.
are they?
And they've been hospitalized. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. As a matter of fact, the main people who are actually catching it and being hospitalized now are the ones who are not vaccinated. Am I saying wear masks forever? No, I'm not. But at least until those students has the opportunity to be given the vaccine. And as of yet, it hasn't been approved. It may be approved tomorrow, next week, I don't know. But
Karen, just a question about the current state of the plan. So if right now if somebody they get a quarantine notice and they've been vaccinated, they can show proof of vaccination and not be on quarantine? Is that the way it would work? So if but otherwise, they could just say I've been vaccinated, that's not good enough. You gotta actually show the proof of it to get off the quarantine. Is that what?
Roger don't have his card, but yes,
Well,
we'd like to
no,
see your card.
I'm gonna go get it.
okay.
That's the exception that we're creating for the people with the incentive for vaccination is once you get the close contact quarantine letter or notice, that you don't have to serve that if you in fact been vaccinated.
That you been vaccinated. That's correct.
You need to provide documents for vaccination.
As long as I can.
I can tell you I've been vaccinated all day long, but have I been vaccinated?
So proof of vaccination.
Proof of vaccination is required.
Okay, I understand that.
Because I sure don't want to get sick.
Well, do y'all wanna, let's, if there's a motion to accept, I'm ready to vote on it.
You can't vote yet. Only if it's a tie.
I'm ready to call for a vote.
So since there's so much, I would suggest that y'all vote on these two separately.
Separately, okay. Is there a motion to accept the dropout prevention plan?
I'll make a motion to approve. To accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I don't have a vote right now?
No, you don't need to vote. You passed.
Oh, so I don't vote at all?
No,
No, no,
you
no,
have a
no,
time. You voted
I've been sitting there saying aye the whole time.
Yeah, no,
I'm
you
not
already,
saying- Okay,
you are just the same as any other member. You get vote.
that's what I thought, okay. Now, that's my second mistake tonight.
I got it.
You were writing it down. All right, any more discussion on safe return plan?
I'll make a motion. I'm ready to make a
I
motion.
know you. Is there a motion?
I motion that the safe return plan be accepted and masks be required in that plan.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Nay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to research it a little more. The requirement thing versus the recommended thing is kind of confusing.
So what do we do, Counselor?
Well, your motion fails,
So does
so
it,
you don't have a safe return plan.
Which we have to have.
we better get it right then.
So you're gonna need to come back before the start of school to have a meeting.
If you're not gonna do it.
Unless we're gonna do it tonight.
So if we both require, we're going back to the same way we were last year?
Was at the start of school last year.
And then how long was it after the start of school that it was just a recommendation?
Never.
We required it all last year, and it
Required it all year
was
long?
difficult. Second semester is difficult.
Does our current do we have a safe return to school plan from last year?
Not that starts this year.
Because it was just a one for last year, so we don't have one. That's right, okay. That's what
Can they vote on the, since it's, I'm thinking. Since it's, the motion has died, motion has died to add the requirement for
the motion is
Mandate
died,
days.
period.
Right, so that's what I was wondering, if they could vote on the rest of it,
All the
other
time.
than the requirement
Yeah, I mean, you could,
for now.
well, I mean,
So how does the mask fall into it?
it wouldn't be in there unless you put it.
I'm gonna put it in there every time.
So, you know, if two of your board members are going to vote only in favor of it, if it includes the mask, then it's not going to happen. Because you only have four.
Okay, we'll just table,
But
we'll
I'm not
just be on
asking for
the,
masks for the whole entire year. Like I said before, at least until,
but it's an indefinite period though. We don't know,
that's, I guess, that's true.
so.
But the
Okay,
numbers are going up again.
This is to safe return.
all right, so we've,
Right.
that's done for now. All right. Approval for the personnel handbook for 2021-22 school year.
Is that, well, I could ask that. Is that safe? You said that that's mandated by the state to have.
Gotta have, so we'll pull it off our website, we'll be in non-compliance.
And I'll have to put you on the agenda for next month.
Well, you're not gonna open up schools, so
We've already
you
started.
won't have masks. Because it won't be mandated.
Because there's no plan.
So we're gonna. So, Ms. Sheila, did you get all of my recommendations? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So we're on to 11, I'm sorry.
Anything from for the handbook? Anything new?
The handbook is basically updated.
Say again.
It was just basically updated
Okay.
from the previous year.
I'll make a motion to approve the personal handbook this year.
Second. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Student transfers,
12.
12. Discuss approval of memorandum and understanding between Winston Choctaw Regional Correctional Facility and Louisville Municipal District for emergency evacuations.
This was on our agenda last month, and we were looking at the insurance coverage issue, and we do have insurance coverage because it's allowed by statute to do the emergency transportation.
So one of their guys can drive our bus, essentially.
Now, we
One of
provide
our guys
our
drive
own
our bus.
driver
And we're still covered.
Great.
in an emergency.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we determine what an emergency is.
If it needs transportation, it's an emergency.
Right.
All right.
I mean, we're just not gonna go for a joyride.
Somebody going to the bathroom, it's an emergency.
No.
All right, number 13, student
Well, maybe
transfer.
not.
Oh, sorry, you got that.
Motion
It
to
says,
approve.
oh, that gone. All right,
Motion to approve the memorandum of understanding.
second. All those in favor, aye. I thought it was just a bit of information we had. Okay,
We tabled it last.
great.
A couple notes on the student transfers, 13, 1, 2, and 3 are all, teacher, staff related, so those are, you rubber stamp those, I guess. 13, I think all of 13.4 are, minority to, or, excuse me, yeah, majority transfers under the, DSEG order, so is that, am I right about that? At least the ones that were on my original list,
Well,
never mind.
you may not, you don't, I guess I should run your, they've got all the new ones right there in front of them.
These are in addition to,
Um,
aren't they?
yes, ma'am,
These are extras.
those are extra, let me call them.
I didn't, going back to my original comment, 13, 1, 2, and 3 are staff related.
Right.
Those people are allowed to change their, bring their kids here.
Do we need to vote on those separate?
You can vote on
You can
those
vote on
three
all.
together if you want
Yes.
to.
Because I've looked at them.
1, 2, and 3, you can vote
1, 2, and 3 are all student, teachers,
staff.
kids.
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, is there a motion to approve 13, 1, 2, and 3 for
Yeah.
transfer?
I'll make a motion to approve 13.1 to 13.3.
Second.
All those in favor? Everybody.
Yeah, you'll have those.
Yeah,
This is Starkville to Louisville. I bet we got one.
that's gonna be the assistant principal down at Knoxville Heights. She lives in Starkville.
Okay. All right, I don't have, where are these?
Those are the new ones that were brought to me yesterday,
Where are the old,
all those.
The old ones are in your packet.
Are these on the agenda?
No,
Yes, they are.
yeah,
the
they are
old?
now on the new agenda.
The one I gave you, they're all on there.
Willis, Rocket, Singh, and Hall. That's a, we'll see what the name is. I'll say Willis, slide it up.
Is your agenda coming up on your
Yeah.
pad?
Yeah.
Because mine's not, an error has occurred.
Which one is this?
You press it twice.
That's not on the.
No, it's just, it's been doing it all night, it just shuts off.
They were on the, they were on the front, and it's supposed to be on there. Yeah.
Oh,
Unless you know.
this is Willis.
It's there on this one. Oh, that's not, we can say. Everybody on there.
Are we still, can we,
All right, we're not gonna go through them individually.
yeah, I mean,
This is one, the first one I'm looking at is, the student to be transferring from, middle school to Manaway,
What's the name?
last name Snow, it's a black male, that falls within the basic order.
My thing is the reasoning. All these schools are supposed to be teaching on the same level, am I right? You know, it's the reason why they are putting on here to go to another school.
Well, reasoning or not, for this particular student, you don't have a choice.
That's snow.
Because he's African American.
If it,
I don't have that.
Kathleen
It's-
Snow,
It's one that,
It was supposed to be on there, it's not on the.
would benefit from a smaller learning environment atmosphere. Going into middle school with 6 classes right now is too much for him to handle.
we're gonna talk about the individual students' information. I would suggest you do that in executive session.
So it really doesn't matter, but why don't we move all?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the reasoning for
Well, then we need to start putting student transfers in executive session automatically then.
well, if you're gonna discuss it, their individual information, that it needs to be handled in executive session. If you're just gonna, say yay or nay about it, that can be handled in open session. Which is, in the past, we haven't got delved into the student information very much. It's been more of a,
Well, does Nanawa need any more students right now, or they, I guess they're already 2A. Doesn't matter now, might as well just keep going.
well, like I said, for this particular student, you have a court order that says he's allowed to go from middle school to that.
Regardless of the reason. Regardless of the
Regardless.
reason. Actually, so the second one is the same way, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yes, and that was the comment I was trying to make at the beginning, that as long as they're going from, this second one is, I have the last name Singh.
Yeah.
That one can require some discussion because the desegregation order allows you to allow transfers for desegregation purposes, and, him then being an Asian.
Asians don't fall under DSEG?
Well, the desegregation order was only written between contemplating black students and white students. This person falls under the other category of promoting desegregation. So if you wanted to allow this transfer, you have reason to do it. But it falls outside the normal guidelines of the desegregation. It's the same thing we have with Knox Baylor is promoting desegregation. We use that as the basis for allowing, different transfers for Knox Baylor. This particular student, because of their race, falls within that category.
Is there a lawsuit pending if we don't allow an Asian?
No, and we've proved and disapproved people that weren't African American in the past. It's up to the district to promote, to approve it for the promotion of desegregation.
I also motion to deny. To deny, not approve.
Okay.
That one.
Sing or Snow?
You can't,
I gotta approve
So
that.
so needs to be approved.
Okay, all right, let's get Snow.
I'll make a motion to approve Snow.
If, look, do y'all want to go in executive session so I can speak?
Well, we've got a motion on the table.
Second. Is there a second?
Motion to approve Snow.
Quit saying his name.
Say it last time.
That's what I've been saying.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
So we're gonna pull this one up?
We can say the last names. We're gonna pull Sing off. Y'all wanna pull Sing off? And go into executive session?
We can move it to executive session.
Yeah.
Consideration.
Is there a motion? Is there a second? I mentioned made a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Hall, black male to Nanawa. Yep.
He needs to be approved.
What's that?
He needs to be approved.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve Paul.
Second, okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Question, just for me. Does Do we know how many students are at Nanawater yet?
No, ma'am, we won't know until they come in and we run that first.
There's gotta be a point where the school is not made to house the district.
Well, if you get to a point where your school is overcrowded, the desegregated order makes,
And you can deny based on
Combination.
not availability of room.
Well, instead of just doing all these just willy-nilly like we are, can we table these kids until we know what the school has and what the capacity is? That seems like what we should do, because right now we're just going through these motions.
how close to capacity were you last year?
According to who you talk to, I mean, they think they're over capacity and been that way for 2 or 3 years, but,
Well, yeah, but there's gotta be a number.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
we can pull that information and have it for you next time, but now,
School starts before the,
yeah.
I can go get some information based on last year's enrollment.
But I can too, I know about that, yeah.
I mean, you know, like,
But we won't have
maybe third
official,
one, fourth one, you know, that's kind of thing.
until school starts, you won't have
No, as far as new students
Official.
or.
just,
student registration, and
yeah.
all that gets completed, you won't have the official numbers in any school.
You do, I'd
We know
be
that they moved up
very
to
careful.
2A.
Let me make a comment. I'd be very careful about not approving majority minority transfers to Nanawaya.
What about Knox Bay? Same?
Same,
Okay.
well, I mean, Knox Federal is different, you know, because it's 50-50.
So-
that's what the balance for, but Nanawaya has always been a majority white school, and the deseg order was specifically implemented for that, so, you know, it is for allowing African Americans to transfer to Nanawaya, promote desegregation. That's one of the main purposes of the order.
Well, like, I know.
So if
something else,
if we're gonna say that Nanawaya is at capacity and start denying folks, we're gonna have our ducks in a row, and we don't have them in there.
Okay,
We don't have them in a row tonight.
No, ma'am.
so we got those two out of the way, but now, like.
And we've already approved a couple here. that we're
Yeah.
going through, so I mean,
All right,
saying
let's,
to stop, I'd be very careful about this.
well, this is a renewal, the one I'm looking at now, Holmes Waldrop is a renewal.
It is?
Yes.
Where do you see that at?
Okay,
Okay. I see it.
we made the discussion, we had the discussion about renewing, you know, allowing the renewals and pushing the brakes on any further because it exacerbates, you know, moving it away from 50-50.
Okay, well, here's,
I'll make a motion.
wait a minute, we'll stop. I'm sorry,
It's the same.
there's 3 renewals we can do one
Okay, so
time.
we need to look at those.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve all the renewals.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Bert made a motion to approve all renewals.
From everywhere.
Yes.
We made that, yeah.
John,
Did you-
puzzle.
Ma'am?
Don't look puzzled.
Well, I'm a little puzzled because the list is different from the information that I have in my hands.
Right, we got 2 different lists. Those were additions, those are extras.
This is,
Yes.
the names on these people here are last name Gilmore,
Right.
McCrary, and Holmes and Waldrop.
I think as a board, y'all's intent was to talk about those renewals, but the way y'all motioned and voted, you just approved all renewals, even the ones that are on the original list plus your new
But
ones.
didn't we say in the last
We-
meeting?
yeah.
we wasn't gonna-
Y'all said you were gonna do that, but I'm just making you aware,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's the vote, as far as the
Because we
verbiage,
already
the
put
way y'all
in the
said it.
numbers.
I mean, if that's what we decide to do.
Yeah, that's,
So the only ones on the agenda that they need to discuss is any that are not renewals.
yeah, and we've done one. We've got one for executive session.
Y'all go there, I've been totally confused. Who made the motion to approve?
Bert.
Okay, who seconded it?
Jackie,
All right, I'm with you now, okay.
and you got those names that you need. Okay, all those in favor?
We have the,
We gotta do the first one on the Willis. That's a new one.
Which one?
Willis. We do the Willis, that's a new one.
No. We haven't done like this.
We did snow.
We did snow.
That was the first one.
And I don't have it, but y'all talk about
Willis is in your package, your original package. That's the very first one on the 13th hole.
I don't see it. Okay, so. You don't see it in the packet?
it. Older child is already attending.
This one I need.
Well, let's,
It's not a renewal.
no. Willis is a, majority. I think Willis is a,
Oh, these are- it's okay.
There's two Willis's.
yeah, so Willis, we need to approve Willis.
Okay, yeah, that's
Okay,
no
so
discussion.
there's two though. Both of them's gotta be approved anyway.
Well, it'll be under one name, so, I mean, those two together.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Willis's.
I got
One of them's a renewal anyway, the other one's,
Right.
yeah, I got
you, the
it.
signal.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Willis on the new transfer from Fair to Manawa.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Great.
I think Lockett is the same.
Okay, Lockett's the same, but, so I make a motion to approve Lockett from Louisville to Nanawa.
So is, Gilmore.
Yeah. I need a second on Lockett.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to approve Gilmore from Louisville to Nanawa.
No, this, Gilmore's not.
Okay, look, okay. I thought I took it right. Oh, I meant to take that one out. Okay, that's my fault. The lady put the wrong school down.
So this one,
So it's supposed to be, they're under not so paid name.
Yeah.
The lady come in, I made her fill out the form. She put the wrong school down.
For Gilmore.
Gilmore.
Okay.
So she's wanting to go from Louisville to
Not
Knox
so
Pay.
paid, that's
Now,
correct.
that may change things.
Is she a new transfer or renewal?
Yes, oh my God.
What does it say on the form? New or- Yeah, she's a new transfer.
But is that, how's it? I don't know what the name's like. Would that be okay? Black girl.
It was 53%, 47% last,
53 white?
53 white, 47%. That was last board meeting.
Well, this would be fine.
So we gotta do those two.
No, the Gilmore will be a renewal. She has new on there because she put the wrong school, which was down a white, and she come back and put
Correct scope.
correct school, and they went there last year. I'm sorry, that's, I'm
So,
totally.
This is a renewal.
Renewal.
This is a
She's
renewal.
part of that
She's-
percentage.
But
that
she's
was
already in there.
Yeah.
Right,
I would
yes.
vote
She's
to-
already took care of it. No, she's already done it.
We've approved the renewal.
So that should be
What
renewal.
about Hall?
Um,
Have we done that?
We done all.
We done all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, they did all.
So,
And the next one I got is Carter, under the Louisville Knox Fair.
is that a renewal or
Is
is
that a renewal or,
Renewal.
that's already done?
okay?
Stands
All
for
right,
renewal.
Cockrell,
Thanks for being
renewal.
Renewal. It's already done.
Sean Yates is
Sean
renewal.
Yates,
Yeah.
Harold.
Already done.
Harold,
Renewal.
Joyner,
Renewal.
Quinn,
Renewal.
Triplett,
Renewal.
renewal,
Renewal.
and McCoy.
Holmes,
McCoy is new, but it's gonna be,
McCoy.
Oh, I skipped Holmes.
Wait a minute.
Waldrop, I'm sorry.
they're renewals.
Holmes, Waldrop, and McCoy. So
We done
McCoy is
that.
new,
We done that.
McCoy's the only one that's gonna be new.
McCoy?
Holmes, Waldrop is
So I'm
new.
look,
I
I'm
thought I saw
looking,
renewal.
Yeah, it's a renewal. Holmes.
I thought it said renewal on McCoy.
I'm looking, I'm
Okay.
just.
we're good. Renewal.
On McCoy, so
Okay.
you've already done that.
Okay.
Is there any,
Now, the night should be the Louisville one, it's in there, is a Jenkins, and that's gonna be a teacher, so that one's gonna be, that one will need to be for
That's a
the
new
day
one.
as a certified teacher.
Yeah.
That one's not on the.
Trevor
okay,
Jenkins.
what about it?
I don't think it, no, it was.
So we can get the vote on Jenkins. And approve.
Yes, that's a
Yes.
certified teacher.
Give me a
Motion to approve Jenkins transfer from Knoxville to Winston.
Second.
favor. Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, so what's this, what's the,
I think we got it.
did we get that?
Yes, I
Paint-
think we're done.
paint?
That's the one from the show.
David, did you write down,
That was in the, that was in the
lock it?
bath
Hey, lock it,
thing.
y'all got it.
Parents wanted
Y'all
to
voted
show.
on lock
Yeah, that's what I thought.
it. Y'all voted on lock it for us, I did it individually. I wrote it down.
Oh, yeah, that's just
There we-
the.
All right, hold on there. Who's got Phillips? Where's that come from?
Are you looking at parents, name, students, right?
His last name, parent, the child.
You say Phillips?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it.
The child is awful.
What's the child's name in the middle of the page?
Yeah,
I'm looking for it.
the child is awful. That's the renewal.
It was renewal,
That's the renewal, yes.
please pay.
It's in the board, it's in your packet.
My gosh. They're not all on here?
The one that was left off, I had the copy of it, but I was, anyway.
This
it
won't
got
happen
left
next
off
month.
Under the not supposed, I mean, and now why even snow did, but we've added that and y'all voted on that.
Okay.
And then I just didn't have the copy of the Jenkins, because that was a very last minute one, but that parent was certified.
We already put it.
So we haven't done McCory.
Yes, we voted on it.
That was
That
a
was
renewal.
renewal.
So y'all
Yes, ma'am,
did that, I'm gonna take the root, okay.
And the teacher?
No, that's,
Not McCory, not that one. This is a new one. That's McCory.
McCurry, that one that you couldn't find the
That's teacher.
Yeah, we done that, so.
Teacher.
teacher.
yes, that's teacher. That's teacher.
You see that?
Okay, McCory.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a new one.
McCurry.
We haven't done this one.
Yeah.
McCurry.
That's the only one
No,
we haven't
that's
done.
the teacher. That was in the,
No, that's.
Yeah, that was, oh,
That's a new
13-2, 13-2.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I think we got them all. Minus the one we
And
pulled off.
those three teachers separated out, and then we started.
Now what it is max capacity.
Huh?
It is?
It's what now?
Well, we gotta know exactly what it is. You know,
Who's telling you that? Or somebody's-
No.
The teacher telling me it's at max capacity.
Oh, no.
It's not a teacher.
That that will invite, it could very well invite the feds to come down and do.
so what? I mean, dadgum.
So how is that determined? Is that by the size of the?
That's the class, teacher student ratio,
Really?
and they're not at max capacity.
I guess, so that's something we need to know, we need to,
Yeah, that's the first I've heard that it was even bumping up against.
well, but like you said, the school hadn't even started yet, we don't even know what we're up against, so.
Okay.
And our teacher to student ratio has been relatively low compared to what the maximum is 32, 34,
Depends on the grade.
depends on the grade.
So to your knowledge, it's not at that capacity.
Not as of yet,
Okay, let's set the date for this next meeting. If
but.
we're all satisfied with
Go back up.
that. All right, all right. I lost my page. Thank you.
That was
Okay.
modesty.
Okay.
You should went right.
No, I did, well,
You should went to adjournment.
no, all my papers, okay, thank you. There we go. All right. 16th section, approval to advertise the following hunting leases. Do I have to read them off? Okay. Approval to advertise. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve 14-1.
Just that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Second.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Great.
For 14.2, we can't approve that currently because we got some information today that the way the Secretary of State interprets the statute is you can only advertise within 4 months of the termination date of these leases, and they all terminate as of December 31, so we can't start advertising until September the 1st, which would be, 4 months from December 31st. So,
does a motion have to be made to take this off?
no, but what I want to tell you and how you pitch in on this is that we got how many?
We got 24, past releases coming due. They all expire,
And they're all
December 31st, 2021. And we've got to renew them.
So the question is do we want to do 8 or 6? I think 6 every month from September through December, or do we want to do them all at once, or do we want to set a special meeting? Because what you got is some people it may trigger a bid process so that you're doing some kind of auction, and you are going to want to require people to be there so they can go through the bid process if there's more than one bid.
To be there.
To be in person so that you can,
And the school board's got to agree to put that in, but to allow them to.
They would.
They really bid against each other. 2 people walked in here, the original one had it, and somebody else put a bid in on it. And say the guy that didn't have it, he put a higher bid. The original leaseholder could ask for an open bid, and then they start bidding against it.
It's a billboard, it's like,
Oh, like in the room. Okay, that's what I was getting at. Why don't they just submit it? But I see now. Thank you.
But you've got to agree to that or not before we.
if you're gonna, it would be my suggestion that you require the bidders to be here on the day that you're opening these bids for this particular purpose.
And let me say this, out of the 24 we've got, we probably, and we're not gonna know if anybody else is gonna bid until
So you get,
the day of the bid. And we'll require the bids to come in at 10 o'clock that morning, 11 o'clock, so we'll know at 10 o'clock if we're gonna have more than one bidder.
Okay.
And I would say probably 80% or more of these, you're not gonna have another bidder.
Mm-hmm.
But as many leases we've got, we're gonna have some people bid against somebody. And I could almost go down the list right now and tell you what that possibility was. The smaller the lease, you're not gonna have anybody bid. The bigger the lease, you've got a chance to have somebody bid. Another thing, a lot of these people have had this land for quite a while. And so we're gonna run into.
So this is somebody that's got this land that's actually using it in a business setting.
Yes.
or pasture.
And this is different. A hunting lease, the original leaseholder can match the high bid. In this one, they cannot. So
Okay.
that complicates it. And then one thing, think about, if we had a special board meeting, we did 24 hours one time.
Okay.
And we had some people there that want to call, that'd be some pretty good confusion.
yeah.
Okay.
And so we're either gonna have to do 8 at a time, 8 a board meeting, or we're gonna have to do a special. Or we could do some a board meeting and then call a special board meeting for some more.
And these have to be done within that 4-month period?
Yeah, sometime between September the 1st and, so we don't have to make a decision.
So there's 24 of them.
That's right, and then the thing about, and John, you can answer this. When can we advertise if we start at the board meeting in September, then that means we've got to advertise one time
You'll have 2 Wednesdays in September before our board meeting,
okay, well, we could do that.
the way it falls.
So we need to do 6 at a time.
It's up to you.
You know, it's 4 months.
Yeah, at least, to cut it down, or you could,
But you know which ones are gonna be contested. We can do all of those right off the bat.
Well, in the way I had already set this up, because I had talked to the Secretary of State's office a few months ago, and they told me that we could do this. And so I started in August through December, about 4. And then today, John talked to them, and they said, they looked at the statute and said we couldn't do that. So I got to rework the order. The way I worked the order, we did all these leases during different times of the year because of when their original old leases expired. So the way I set up the bids were from the oldest leases to the newest leases. I didn't just randomly pick, these that were gonna be advertised for August was some of the first ag leases we had done. And that way I was using that instead of just me picking and choosing who was gonna be bid first. So nobody could accuse anybody from just randomly. So I don't know if it'd be hard to try to group them together. I mean, I'd like to still stick with the process that I did.
Okay.
but to answer your question, I guess we'll go forward. We'll put it back on the agenda, the first 6 for next month, because we'll have to publicize it, starting at the beginning of September. Then we'll have to approve it in August, whichever one. So we can get together.
Yeah, you don't want it to push to December.
That's right.
They're doing this too, so.
So we'll do, there's nothing to be done, it's just information.
Okay, so on this 14-2, to move forward, we're just gonna table that for
No,
now.
there's nothing.
Okay,
You can just ignore it.
great. 14-3, approval of highest bid for the following hunting leases. There you have them.
Yes.
He did 14-1. All that confused me too at first.
All right, 14, this is 16, 1410, 153 acres, $6.85 an acre by Trevor Cooley, and that's the only bid. All right, this is 16, 15, 12, 84 acres, $7.75 an acre. Michael Guace, G-U-A-C-E. No, I'm sorry, Michael Grace, G-U-A-C-E. Yeah. And that's the only bid. This is 16, 14, 14. George Hemphill, $6 an acre. And the last one is 16, 14, 13. Chris Clark. His bid is $5.50 an acre. Again, he's the owner.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve 14-3.
Second.
In favor? Aye. Great. And if nobody objects, we'll set the date for the next meeting. Sorry about that. Looks like August the 10th. About happy with that? Superintendent's report, please.
All right, I know we've had some great discussion over the safe return to school plan, but do want to touch base on that. We do not have one approved, and we will need one, but To start school, we're going to recommend masks. We've got to have some stance on masks, so we're going to recommend that mask for all non-vaccinated personnel, where you can't, social distancing, you have issues and things like that. We're also going to encourage and try to promote everyone 12 years and older to get their vaccine. We're working, as I mentioned earlier, with local providers to try to make that easy, whether we do it at school sites or a central location here in town or something to that effect. But they're working to help facilitate that, make sure it's an easy process. I've already mentioned that some things, if you are vaccinated, hopefully some things that will help encourage people. Those fully vaccinated are not recommended to wear masks. They lower the risk of transmission. If you're exposed to COVID-19, you're not required to quarantine or to go through the testing process to get out of quarantine. There is a process you can go through and test every 2 days and be asymptomatic and get out of quarantine. But the vaccinated individual does not have to go through those steps or hurdles to stay engaged in school activities, as long as they're not showing symptoms. Now, if they show symptoms, that's a different story. And I mentioned earlier, and I want to mention this again about teachers and staff and all personnel. There is no paid administrative leave. So for this year, that died last year. So if you are exposed and you have to quarantine, it goes to affecting your personal sick leave that you've accrued over the years or your personal time off that you've accrued. So there's another reason that encourages people to get vaccinated so that they don't have to expend their sick leave that they've accumulated over the years. I've already mentioned that Winston Medical is one of the providers that's reached out about vaccination sites or providing vaccines easily for our students and our faculty and staff. They have also asked, and I don't know if I need to get your approval, probably do, but they've asked for an agreement letter of understanding. They're doing their emergency plan also at the same time, and they're asking, different organizations, public, private, whatever, what they can provide in the event of a disaster or some sort of catastrophe like we experienced with the tornado back several years ago. And the school provided transportation in that night. If y'all are not familiar, the school transported nursing home patients and anybody else, I'm assuming, but mainly was nursing home patients to local shelter areas and to churches and different sites. They're asking basically, what can the school provide in stance of emergency or disaster that might strike our community or our town. And it's part of their process from a hospital standpoint that they've got to formulate that plan.
I would think we'd need to have it written down that we will allow it.
And
Cover
I'm
us.
gonna bring it to you as a motion for y'all to vote on the next board meeting. So you'll see exactly, it'll be things like transportation, and like this past summer, we fed the community, with our summer feeding program, we allow people to come in and get food. It'll be things like that we can, as a school, we can do most often all the time. So it'll be things that we readily accessible that we have that we can offer. The Louisville-Winston County Airport, again, this is just for your information so that you'll know what's going on. Nothing immediate needs or anything, but they have approached Mr. Hanna, Mr. Overstreet, and myself. The end of that runway is 16 section land, and it's currently leased in a hunting lease or possibly coming up or whatever. But, they're looking at expanding their runway and creating a safe zone at the end of the runway that encompasses about 70 acres, I believe, 69.6 acres in total. It's nothing for like next month or the next month. They're looking 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, maybe even 5 or 6 years down the road. So I'm just telling you that's something that the Louisville-Winston County Airport they've got hopes and plans to expand their runway. they're gonna come to you at some point wanting to lease that property and do some things with it, so.
David, let me say, they've already got 17 acres leased now. And it's nothing but we cleared the timber on 17 acres. As the Japs coming in, they needed a clearance to come in. And they've got that, and they pay a lease on it. And they pay about $1,000 an acre a year for that. And now they're talking about,
Yeah, that's pretty good money.
They're gonna expand, you're talking about make it more runway or more clear?
they,
They need, as they expand the runway, they have to expand the safety zone.
I thought they just did that. They're gonna do it again.
They're doing-
They did the safety zone right now. And the
Oh, they
safety-
just reworked the runway as it was. They haven't expanded it.
And then their expansion is gonna go the length of that safety zone that they've already leased, and then they're gonna need
Right.
more.
Will the expansion put part of the runway on 16?
it would be right at the edge. Mike Forrester told me today about 300 more feet is what they're looking for, but he said it wasn't gonna be done immediately. And,
And this, we can't sell that.
no.
We'd probably rather lease it anyway.
Yeah, we'd rather lease it.
The runway can be there a long
That's
time.
what I'm saying. Okay.
But like I said, that's for future, and just so you'll know, and when it does come up, but it will come up sometime in the future on that. Some ESSER 2 projects that we utilize some of those resources from. We're gonna start doing some installs, probably the first or the middle of September is what the projected date on some of that is. And that's just to remind you, that's the security cameras at all campuses. That's the automated exterior main doors. That's control blocks on the other that are not sort of the main entrances. And probably the most exciting thing for our teachers and our administrative group is the two-way intercom system. That will basically be like an internal phone system. So it'll provide easy communication between room and office and whatever's needed as far as just daily communication that needs to occur. But that's going to start, like I said, here pretty quick. Some of the staffing things that we've done, we've hired y'all have hired a behavioral specialist, some data clerks at the 3 high schools. So we've got those people, they're in place and figuring out their role for the Western Municipal School District. You also approved tonight the additional $1,000 to the bus drivers, if I'm not mistaken, which they all congratulate and thank you, and I do too, and the rest of them do. The teachers, the $2,000. So that's all part of that ESSER 2 project or packet. That's all in there. And then the ESSER 3 application process is just now beginning this week. So we'll be coming to you with, some ideas on how that ESSER 3 money, how it'll look and how we can best utilize it. We just got to remember within that process that 20% of that total amount has to go to learning loss. We're looking at somewhere around $1.8 million. And when I say learning loss, you're talking about anything from interventions to teachers to after school to anything just basically dealing with learning loss. So whether it's computer programs that help or whatever it may be, consultants coming in and providing assistance, whatever we might could utilize in that area. But we'll go back, I'll bring it to you, or we'll bring it to you about some projected renovations to restrooms to increase that distance and spacing that we need, or cafeterias or other areas, but we'll bring that to you and let you get your input on that. And just for your information, the Winston County Board of Supervisors have their, guess the best way to say it, they are in contact or in communication with some FEMA representatives and discussing some monies that might be available for storm shelter use. So they have began some conversations about the possibility of building some storm shelters on maybe some school sites. Island Middle School and Knox school sites were mentioned. It's just according, and they're still in the preliminary part of trying to figure out what's available, what they could get a hold to. So that I'll bring to you as I know more information.
Could it, go ahead.
Ask away.
Never mind.
All right.
Baseball dugouts, where do they, why can't we do, I mean, you can spread them out more. That could be a tornado shelter. Make it strong.
I don't know that we can prepare, prevent, or respond to COVID as far as using ESSER money. But we do have the opportunity, if y'all desire as a board, to use some 16 section monies. Now, if you want to designate, say, the 3 high schools, we're going to spend $100,000 to do X, Y, and Z, or whatever, or something. If you had something along those ideas or in mind that we, as a board, y'all could decide, we could make that decision.
Yeah, in years past, we've done, wish list stuff in the summertime.
Yeah, maintenance has been, yes, we've been taking care of some wish list stuff and doing.
I meant like outside project type work.
But I'll tell you some immediate needs as far as our facilities that we're not taking care of this year, that need to be taken care of in the near future. You still have the safety issue with the lights that were mentioned at Knoxville. The lights at Louisville are no better.
Had a kid go to ER from a throw from my son to him.
He throws harder than his father did when they were that age. I
That's not
understand.
true.
They are. But the lights are in bad shape. I mean, there are safety.
Yeah.
But there's concern there.
These are things we discussed
We got the state concerned.
way back when.
They do need to be addressed. These are all items that need to be addressed.
What,
So you own it.
We gotta have resources, but we gotta have resources budgeted.
Mhm.
These are,
what timeframe?
time frame to get something like this done, or is time frame for y'all to vote?
No, to get something like this done.
We're talking, well, if you're talking about spring sports, if you were looking at lights, a couple of months at least, but you gotta order materials and things like that, so you're looking more like 3 to 4 months out. You need to have the resources sort of obligated.
Well, the
Stacy's starting to go through the budget now, and if we're going to budget for something like this, we could go ahead and get that in the budget, and then y'all could approve it.
Because I know
Or
some
amend the
of
budget,
talked
take it
about the lights, the bleachers, the press box, and then you got the concession, dressing room, baseball
So,
stuff.
Stacy, you just tell us what we can do.
I would ask her.
If we can, we can.
If y'all tell me to go ahead and proceed, I will work with Stacy. She'll bring y'all some budgeted line items, and then y'all can look at, how much we've got budgeted in those items and make a determination. I mean, when they look over your budget, they say, hey, no, we're not gonna do this, or yes, we can do this.
For safety reasons, I would like for you to look into it, see what we can do.
All right? Well, we'll get on that. And you are all invited to the administrative retreat at the lake, July the 27th, to eat lunch with us at 11:30. So please mark that in your calendar.
July 27th.
Yes. That's
26.
right. I've been the right day, right? Okay.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Yes.
Free lunch. What time? 12? 11:30?
We'll eat lunch at 11:30. But now we start our meeting, we'll be there meeting about an hour or so. What, 10 o'clock, we're gonna start our meeting? So, and we're in where we at?
In the honeysuckle.
Up on the hill?
Up on the back, the furthest.
That's all I've got.
David,
Yes,
let
sir.
me ask you while we're talking, they're redoing the steps at the high school, at Louisville High School?
Front door, front,
Yeah, is that going pretty good?
done.
I hadn't been through there in a couple of weeks, they were,
We ripped out, I don't know, for those of you that's walked up and down those steps, they always sort of pitch forward, they want to throw you in the parking lot.
right.
Ripped all that out and built an ADA accessible ramp.
That was an engineering chore right there.
It was, they did a good job.
Okay, thanks.
Also did some work on the parking lot where it was busted
I
up.
saw that, yeah, taking that out. Yeah, all right, is that it, David?
That's it for me,
Okay.
unless y'all have questions.
Before we go to 17, are we gonna set a meeting for the safe return for that agenda item? Or are we gonna just go to school
Put it on next month.
next month? Can we do it next month, even though we'll
Oh,
already?
that's a good question. I was thinking, I was
Few
like, I wonder
days.
what MDE's gonna say when we tell them that we didn't pass one. They may, I'll find out in the morning, or,
I'm trying to think of the deadline. Ms. Swart, can you recall the deadline on having that posted?
Oh, it's
A couple of weeks ago? Yeah.
Well, we're already coming back, you know, for another little quick shot here in a few days.
And if I may, and I don't know if you can go back and address this or not, if y'all pass the safe return to school plan as is and come back and want to call a special board meeting tomorrow and want to change the mask, you can change it. I mean, you can amend this plan. This will just get us in compliance with MDE and everybody else.
Can we go back?
go tonight?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to offer a motion to approve the safe return plan with the stipulation that we will
Revisit.
revisit for mask requirements.
Does anybody have a motion that they'd like to make regarding safe return? Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye. Nay.
Yeah.
Passes.
It passed.
Yeah.
I'm just in favor.
Did you run out of ink, Michelle?
I did.
Oh, my Lord, Jesus.
Y'all killing me.
I was just going to say that and jump in. Okay. Consideration of executive session.
So we have, 6.8.4 and there's one student transfer that y'all want to discuss. They're appropriate for executive session.
All right,
We need a motion.
motion to go into executive.
Well, motion to go into closed.
Consideration.
Closed session, consideration for executive session. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay,
And then
please turn off our big brother.